How's everybody doing today? This is Blue Banshee back again with another video. Excuse me, I had something in my throat. Today I plan on going over the cars that I have. I guess like a garage update, even though none of them are in a garage. But so figure I'll just get right into it, starting with my 2005 Ford Expedition Eddie Bauer, which, like all of my cars right now, because of all the rain, it's completely filthy. But picked this up probably October of last year, so I've had it for a little while now, and I'm extremely impressed with the vehicle. I previously had a 1998 Ford Expedition XLT, as you can possibly see over there, with the wrong grille, the wrong hood because of a car accident, which I could, you know, if you guys would like, I could go into a story time about what happened there. It'd kind of have to be its own short little video. There's not too much to talk about. Is something, you know, it's not too crazy or anything. It's just on my way to work. But this is my 2005 Ford Expedition Eddie Bauer, as I said. It's got the 5.4 Triton V8, and it's in really nice shape. Like, I was extremely impressed. Boone, get out of the road. Sorry about that, my dog's just sitting in the road. But I was extremely impressed with the condition of the interior. It's a mess right now, but the whole interior is in extremely good shape. No staining, no ripped seats. You know, there's minor cracks on the seat, but they look pretty nice still. And let me turn it on, show you the mileage. It's got something like 134,000 miles on it. So it's not, yeah, 134,000 miles, so not even high mileage. Boone, come on. My dog just loves hopping in any vehicle. You open the door and there he is. But yeah, so it's got decent mileage on it, you know. It's just overall a great vehicle, in great shape. Quickly falling in love with it. I never thought that upgrading to a newer one would be that much better than my 98. But I guess going up like 7 years and a couple trim levels will really change your mind, because that thing's got it's got navigation. It's weird. It's like 2005 navigation, so I need a disc or something. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but it's got navigation. It's got the premium sound system. It's got the little DVD player there in the back. It's got everything. It's like fully loaded. Extremely nice vehicle. And then we move on to probably the beating heart of the channel, my 2011 Mustang GT Premium in Kona Blue. It's got the 6-speed manual, the MT82. This is the one that you'll have previously seen, obviously, in my first upload. This is going to be the primary focus of my channel. Like, obviously, I'll do stuff with the truck or the SUV. I'll do stuff with this, possibly, because this is currently for sale. I'll get more into that in a minute. But this, like I said, my 2011 Mustang GT Premium, I picked it up, what was it, November of 2017. I actually got it the same day that I got my license, and no, because I know there's going to be those questions, it was not a getting my license present. It was not a present of any kind from my parents. This was my own purchase. It was something that I'd known I'd wanted for a long time. So when the time came and I had the finances, the day I got my license, I left the DMV and drove probably about an hour, 2 hours to pick this car up. But the crazy thing is, I wasn't even that good at driving a manual then. So I went with my dad, who he drove this back because a 2-hour drive and like some pretty hefty traffic was not something that I particularly wanted to do for my first time. So I drove his F-250. I don't know if you can see it behind all the other cars, but I drove his F-250 back 2 hours in heavy traffic, which was still a bit of a feat in its own right, because the traffic was close together and it was just nerve-wracking to be doing that kind of a drive just after getting your license. But yeah, I've owned this car for getting close to 3 years now, and I'm absolutely in love with the thing. I haven't had any issues with it. It's ran great. It's a completely perfect car. Sorry, my horse over there is eating the fence. Hey! Quit it! Anyway, owned it for about 3 years now. No issues. Just, done regular maintenance on it, oil changes, things like that. Kept up with it. And I love the car. It's one of those cars that, I'm sure everybody has this car in their life that you get it and you just know that you're not going to get rid of it. It's going to stay with you until the day you die. It's that special to me. I love it. I love walking out, seeing it and going, that's my car. There's no better feeling than coming out to the car that you've wanted for years and just being able to see it right there and having the keys on your keychain, knowing it's all yours. So yeah, it's got like, I think it's 75,000 miles on it now. So it's still, I guess, for a 2011, a relatively low mileage car. It had 45 when I picked it up. So, I mean, it's a baby still, I think. And yeah, like I've said 100 times, I'm in love with the thing and it's not going anywhere. And it's definitely going to be the primary focus of the channel. And I'm definitely going to plan on doing maybe like 70% of the content with that right there. But moving on, this is my 1983 Ford Bronco redneck hillbilly project that I picked up. I can't even remember when I picked it up. I've had it for a few years now. I picked it up because the thought process was I needed to learn to drive manual. And honestly, I think there's no better way to learn to drive manual besides a tractor, which I sort of had a little bit of experience with. But there's no better way than an old pickup, I think. I think that's probably the best way that someone can go and learn to drive a manual. So that's what I did. I went on KSL Cars, which is a Utah-specific thing. It's like Craigslist, but less sketchy. So I went on KSL Cars, and I basically just put in, I can't even remember what I put in. I think I literally just put, like, truck body style and manual transmission. I don't think there was anything specific. And then I looked for a while, didn't really come up with anything, and then I got a little more specific, and I hit Bronco, because I've always had a soft spot for the Broncos because of the way they look, and just, everything about the Bronco. It was the Expedition before the Expedition, and obviously I have a soft spot for Expeditions, considering I have two right now. But I saw this. It was listed for $1,800. They said it ran and drove. So one of the random days, I just talked to my dad and I was like, hey, do you want to go check this thing out and, give it a test drive and see what's what? So we drove probably about 20 minutes, pulled up at like, I think it was like 8 o'clock, and the people were really nice, really happy to show us this. And we had the owner of the car start it up and take it for a quick drive up and down the block just to see that it was in fact running and driving. And it went up and down the road just fine, sounded pretty healthy. It's got I think cherry bombs right under there, a little bit redneck rigged considering the fact that the muffler's right under where you sit basically, and there's a hole in the bottom of the truck because this wasn't originally a manual truck. So a bit redneck rigged, but honestly, for what I was going for, to just learn manual and have a little fun project truck, it fit the bill perfectly. So I ended up coming back the next day with a truck and trailer, trying to get it on there. But the funny thing is, with those massive TSL, Thornbird mud tires, it wouldn't fit on the trailer. We'd have to roll over the fenders, and my dad, being the way he is, he was absolutely not going to let that happen. So what he did was he had me take over the truck, and he drove this thing for about, I think, 40 minutes on back roads. And holy crap, with that shell on there and the exhaust dumped right under the cabin like it is, and the hole in the floorboards for the shifter, it nearly gassed him out. It was pretty bad. Like, even on short drives still, this thing, because I haven't been able to relocate the exhaust because I just haven't had the time or money to really work on this thing. Because of where the exhaust is, it's just, even on short drives, it's really, really tough. I mean, you can take the shell off and it improves it a lot, but it's such a pain to get that shell on and off that it's really not worth it. But yeah, that's my 83 Ford Bronco, which I am selling. I'm hoping to do maybe a little bit of content with it before I sell it, but if I get an offer before I do content with it, I'm getting rid of it, just because unfortunately it's a little out of my comfort zone. Like, it needs a little bit more than I know. Like, I'm going to be straight up. I know a decent amount, but when it comes to older trucks and actually putting these things into practice, I'm not that well versed. Like, it needs probably a good tune-up with the carburetor, a couple things in the engine bay, which I'm sure I could do with the research and the time, but I don't really have either. Like, I mean, obviously I could do the research, but I just don't really have the time, and I don't really have the money, considering I want to focus on that right there. But there's not too many major things wrong with it, just a little bit more than I can handle right now. So yeah, that's my plan with that. But we come over to here to my last vehicle, which is actually my first vehicle. This is my first car, which is filthy because it's been parked here. It's not insured or anything. It's not registered right now just because of the current situation that I'm in. I can't afford to keep everything registered and insured, and when I already have two vehicles that are really nice, registered and insured, that do the same thing that this thing does, but in just better in every way, basically, I'm just kind of having to let this one sit. But I'm never getting rid of this one either. This is my first car. It's my baby. This is not going anywhere, except maybe a car wash. But this is my 1998 Expedition XLT in the beautiful puke green, or whatever color they call this. My family's had this car in their possession for 10 plus years, and it's been a gem. The whole time it's been completely perfect, never had any issues besides, typical stuff like the battery going out, which happens on any car. It's not the car's fault. The starter went out and was super easy to replace, not very expensive. did that myself in the winter, which was quite an interesting experience. But other than that, really haven't ever had any issues with it. I'm sure if I went and grabbed the keys, it would start right up. But there's not too much that's going to be done with this either, besides potentially when I can, I'm going to have to straighten this bumper mount here because that was damaged in the accident. I have a brand new bumper and everything to get it at least fully buttoned up. It's all different colors. There's the white hood, the white grille, and the bumper is blue. So it's definitely going to be a Frankenstein, but at least it'll have the bumper on it. But other than that, I don't have too many plans with it besides just keeping it maintained, trying to probably knock a lot of that rust off, and yeah, maybe eventually turning this into like a more trail runner, not trail runner, but like trail truck, just like, you know, something I take camping, something I take on the trails, you know, maybe give it a small lift kit, give it a push bar, you know, some light bars, some simple stuff like that. But yeah, other than that, right now, not too much going on with that one. Like I said, the main focus is definitely going to be the Mustang. But anyways, that's gonna basically cover my garage update. And I noticed that in my first video, I completely forgot to film an outro. So this is me filming my outro, making up for that little bit of a mistake. And hopefully I'm going to be getting better camera angles and keeping the sun out of the camera, because I noticed that in my first video as well. I had the camera just sitting down here, which doesn't really make for a good viewing experience, I guess. And having the sun just sitting there right behind my head the whole time, also kind of a rookie mistake. But anyways, yeah, so that's my garage update, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.